Hey everyone, this is Evan at Stryd, and today we're going to talk about establishing and maintaining a valid auto-calculated critical power. So, in the last video, we talked about what critical power is. Just as a brief reminder, it's the threshold at which the type of fatigue your body is experiencing changes. In the Stryd ecosystem, we have Stryd auto-calculated critical power. Stryd Auto CP will analyze your last 90 days of activity and look for max efforts across that time. Based on those max efforts, we're able to auto-calculate your critical power. So you might ask yourself, why is it important to establish a valid and correct auto-calculated critical power? There are other metrics that we've talked about, such as running stress score and running stress balance, that rely on an accurate and valid auto CP to give you the most up-to-date information, as well as things like your power zones that can influence your day-to-day training as well as your racing. So what goes into establishing a correct auto-calculated critical power? We typically look for three different types of activities. The first type of activity is going to be short duration, high intensity. You can think of things between 10 to 30 seconds that are very high intensity. We typically recommend things like hill sprints or very short strides. A practical type of run might look like 6 times 20 to 30 second hills at a very hard effort with full recovery in between, or something like 4 to 6 times 30 seconds on flat terrain at a very hard effort with ample recovery in between. The second type of activity we look for is a medium duration, medium intensity. The best driver for this we found has been a 5K time trial, although you can run anything between 15 to 30 minutes at a pretty high intensity. So for most people, a 5K all the way up to a 10K race can be a great addition for this medium duration, medium intensity run. The third type of activity we look for is a longer duration, slightly lower intensity. This type of run can be considered anything above 50 minutes, and that upper zone 2 range is something we recommend for those longer runs. The auto critical power model will use data all the way up to 90 minutes and look at every single point that you have run. So it's important to have a variety of intensities in your training. One quote we really like to reflect on is testing is training. So don't be afraid to run time trials or hard efforts in your training to make sure that your auto calculated critical power is actually accurate based on your current fitness. Once you have your auto calculated critical power, you can use the rest of the Stryd ecosystem to your advantage. Like we mentioned, running stress score and running stress balance, as well as power zones, are great day-to-day tools that you can use in your training to help improve over time. When it comes to race day, whether you're doing a time trial or you're running a race or you're just going out and trying to hit a certain target, you can use Stryd's auto-calculated critical power to help guide your intensity on that day. We have a great full webinar on this subject where myself and Gus at Stryd go into full details on how to best establish a valid auto-calculated critical power in a practical training format over a 2-week period, as well as how to use that information to help guide your best race day effort. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be back with another one shortly. Bye-bye.